All right, Mike Callahan here. Wanted to welcome you Facebook Live with the Simple Growth Bot Team, or as I like to refer to them as the Bot Ladies. Everything conversational marketing, bots. Want to welcome you to this Facebook Live, and joining me today is Jen and Deb from the Facebook or the Simple Growth Facebook Messenger Bot Team. So what we're going to be doing today is we're waiting for a few people to come in live. If you have any comments or questions around conversational marketing bots, how they're built out in through Simple Growth, or just in general Facebook bots, a lot of things are changing in the ecosystem. As of March 4th, there's a lot of rules and regulations that we're going to be breaking down that you want to know. So whether you're hiring a professional like Simple Growth to take care of your Facebook bots, or you're doing it yourself, these are the things you really need to make sure that you're doing correctly, because Zuckerberg and the team there is creating a good user experience, and they want people to stay on the platform. And as the bot team here at Simple Growth, we are definitely in line with Facebook's new regulations and how they're driving this forward, because it's good for our community. And if you tackle conversational marketing the correct way, you're going to have a good success and good relationship with your future or potential clients down the line. So as we're waiting for a few people to join right now, Deb, Jen, anything that you guys want to kind of add before we actually get into a presentation of what conversational marketing is and how that drives actually into Facebook Messenger bots, and kind of what the Simple Growth team is doing, automating Facebook Messenger estimates in the lawn care and home cleaning industry. And then we've also gone in and tied into Zillow to pull property specific information to base pricing automated on your pricing, not industry specifics, but this is customized and built right around your pricing. So I'll kind of give you guys the floor here as we're waiting for a few people to get in, and then we'll dive into what is conversational marketing.
Go ahead, Deb, you can start.
Okay, I'll start. So yeah, we're so excited about working with Mike and the Simple Growth team to be the leader in the industry in terms of what is the way to get the results that you're looking for with your ads, with your client acquisition. The Messenger is brand new technology that not a lot of companies have embraced, and definitely hasn't embraced it the way that Mike has at Simple Growth. And we're super excited to be working with him and helping to write that piece of the technology and keep you guys on the leading edge in terms of the easiest and most cost-effective way to acquire customers.
You know, one of the things, we saw a great quote today that was, so we all want more for our business. And one of the things when we want more for our business is it drags us into more hours. And one of the ways to really grab back some more time in your life, and also add time, is to automate what you can. And so using conversational marketing and Estimator bot, you can really start driving leads automatically, and then jumping in at the right time and creating more time for yourself, for your business, things like that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Couldn't said it better myself. I know we've been burning the midnight oil here with the bot ladies, building out these bots and staying on the bleeding edge of technology. But believe it or not, this is something we've actually been doing in my company, Callahan's Lawn Care, for probably 3.5, 4 years. So well before this buying shift has happened. So what we're going to do is dive in here. If you have any questions around bots, how we do it, or anything in general around automations, we're happy to answer those. Please make a note in here. If you're watching live, please make a quick note in here. Make sure you can hear the audio. Make a quick comment. Make sure we're good before we dive into this. But this is going to be a pretty instrumental conversation we're going to have, because we're going to show you how to be the disruptor in your market going forward now, and hopefully capture this technology and be able to go out and literally wipe the floor with your competition. So without any further delay here, it looks like we've got some audio. Want to say what's up to Rohan as well. We're going to flip the screen here and hopefully get my slide deck up here. So we're going to pull these down here. And what could go wrong on Facebook Live? And there we go. So, and if I take my picture off here, you will lose the audio. So that's not just me being stealing the spotlight. We've learned in past audios that if the person talking is not on there, you cannot hear them. So as we're diving into this, I would love to have a little audience interaction. So this isn't really necessarily a presentation, but a conversation and where we're going. So the first thing we're looking at here is conversational marketing. If you've never heard about it, we're going to break it down. But this is the shift in buying habits and what's going on in the market today. So first question I have for anybody watching live right now, if you could type it in the comments section, what do these companies have in common? Amazon, Netflix, Uber. Does anybody have an idea what that is? So I know Rohan and Adam are here among some other people that are anonymous, but Adam, Rohan, if you guys are watching, any ideas what these companies have in common? Amazon, Netflix, and Uber. Anybody want to type in? I'll give you a minute or two to type that in. But obviously, we've all heard what Amazon is, Netflix, and Uber. And what happened here is what these companies have done is they've actually figured out how to deliver real-time buying experiences that today's consumers demand. The way service companies have been doing marketing and sales is now broken and outdated. So 99% of all service companies' marketing and sales process are built around the old buying habits of the consumer. So a example of this is imagine that it's the holiday season and we're going out to get one of those big screen TVs at Best Buy or one of the other big box stores that sell electronics. And we want to actually go out and buy this TV, but before we buy it, we want to go into the store and actually check it out to make sure it's what we want. So we walk into the back of the electronics store, all the TVs are on the back, and you see the TV that's 50% off, and you're ready cash in hand to buy it. It's a perfect fit. It's what you wanted above the fireplace up on the wall. So you go to the actual register right now, cash in hand, ready to buy it, but when you go to look for a salesperson, no one is there. And what you find is a clipboard with a piece of paper on it and a pen. And what they ask you to do is actually fill out your name, your phone number, your email, and all the other information and what TV you want to buy. And at the bottom, it says, we'll call you back when we're ready to sell this actual TV to you. Well, in my opinion, what's going to happen here is you as a consumer are going to pick up your phone and get on Amazon, find the exact TV for probably a similar price, maybe a little bit different, with free shipping on Prime. And this is exactly what a lot of us in our service businesses are doing. We are forcing consumers to fill out a form on our website, and we are telling them we are going to get an estimate or call you back when it's convenient for us, not for you as our future consumer. So what today's consumer is doing is they are going to continue to shop websites or different areas on social media until they're able to have this real-time buying decision and experience in real time. So what we're going to do is try to challenge you to, in the next 20 to 30 minutes in this presentation, is show you how to take conversational marketing and shift those experiences to real-time buying habits. And what I'm going to say is when we did this at Callahan's, we were able to disrupt the market because there was no one in the service industry, especially in lawn care, fertilizing, and snow plowing, that actually understood that these real-time buying decisions have changed, and especially they have changed in the service industry. And none of the companies, or very few of the companies, have taken the time to address the way consumers are buying now. So what has been at the core of the buying process since day one? Since there was a sales process, it was literally a conversation between the buyer and seller. So back to the days when people started bartering sales and things, the conversation was around the buying process. That hasn't changed. But what we have done as marketers and salespeople in our service business is tried to make the process more convenient for us by forcing people to fill out these forms and waiting for someone to get back to them at their convenience. So if we want to get back to the core of it, conversational marketing is going to focus on the power of these real-time conversations. And with these automated Facebook Messenger bots that we've been providing and setting up, this is going to go back to the core of the buying decision. So as we're looking into it, the first question I have for you is your website actually leaking revenue? And my guess is it probably is. So we're going to break down the systematic things that we would recommend as best practices to have on your website to address the new shifts in consumer buying habits. So if anybody want to put some comments in here as well, traditionally this is done in a live one-to-many, 50 to several hundred people room, but how does your website stack up? Is there a contact us form? Is there an estimate request form? Is there a lead magnet? A lead magnet is if a person's not ready to commit to the form, we have a way to capture their first name, last name, and potentially email for something of value. So it could be the 5 or 6 reasons to hire a lawn care or home cleaning professional, or the things you should be looking for, or maybe the ways to have the cleanest tile in your master bathroom and avoid soap scum. Whatever that is, we're providing something of value in exchange for their information. And as a marketer or a service business, we want to be able to create that lead that's not ready to commit to an estimate and put them into our CRM, our customer relationship management software, go out and nurture that lead until they're ready to buy. So when they're thinking about committing and requesting a lawn mowing estimate or a cleaning estimate, we're top of frame of mind, and we've already provided so much value that through reciprocity, hopefully they come back to our website. So as a basic, we really would want a contact us form, an estimate request form, and a lead magnet. Now, in addition, if these are set up correctly, they should be entering the contact or leads information automatically into your software, such as Service Autopilot, without any double entry, and triggering a task or a to-do for someone in your office to follow up with an associated deadline. Now, the next thing is we're usually in a live event and talking to one-to-many here. We have people raise their hand. And if anybody wants to plug in, does anybody have an automated estimate tool on their website? So it allows the consumer 24/7 to plug in some very basic information, and the website or the social media tool would automatically generate a price based on property-specific details. So if you've got one of those, you don't, plug it in the comments. We'd love to see that. The next step is, does anybody have an automated estimate tool with two-way interaction for a live person to hop in from your team to close hot leads? So the next thing is we can do lead source, or basically the lead, how hot a lead is. So whether they're cold, warm, or hot. So we're going to be able to go in and based on their interaction with your business, we're able to go in and actually notify somebody live in Messenger or through a website bot and say, hey, this person is engaged with so much or so many pages of your website or so many things in your bot, and they are a hot lead. A person needs to jump in. So just having an automated estimate tool is great. The next evolution is creating logic in the bot to pull in a live person to try to close that lead live. And then the biggest thing is these chatbots here are going to go in and talk and basically communicate with your prospects in real time. So the forms on your website are not a bad thing, but we need to go out and complement them with the ability to have real live communications, just like the Ubers and Netflix and Amazons of today. So traditionally what we see is a form on your website here. We've got some examples, but we've got the estimate request here up on the left, and this is an example of a lead magnet. And this lead magnet right here is just capturing that first name and email so we can get them into the system and nurture them, and hopefully when they're ready to buy, they reach back out to us. Estimate request here is your traditional form, first name, last name, address, all their contact information. This is the equivalent of that electronic store making you fill out that form. Now, it's not a bad thing because some consumers don't necessarily trust automated bots yet. But I'm going to show you in the next few slides how we can use that bot to assist people filling out this form and make it more of a live conversation, what sales process should be based around, in my opinion. So traditionally, when a visitor hits your website, we have them fill out a form, they enter information. Traditionally, there's an automated email that's responding back, acknowledging that they filled out the form. As I said before, best practice is hopefully that process is automatically driving them into the CRM with no double entry. And I've got some shocking stats of how much time your salespeople are wasting if some of these things aren't here, and how we can actually gain back probably 20 weeks of sales process with the step-by-step directions we're going to show you at the later end of this conversation. But once we have them into our CRM, we're going to have to go through some kind of qualification process. We don't know if they're in our service area or not. So maybe this person has requested an estimate, and maybe they're not even in our service area. So we're going to have a process of qualifying. And then traditionally, we have to call them back or quote them and email them a quote. And then, and only then, can they become a customer. So we've created multiple hurdles and bottlenecks to your sales process. So the next process is on top of that, 58% of companies never follow up with their visitors who ever fill out this form. I'm hoping, obviously, that the people watching this Facebook Live aren't part of that 58%. But if you have a form on your website and you are forcing people to fill this out, somebody actually needs to follow up consistently and quickly before that lead goes cold. So through the stats and the research we did, 58% of all companies never actually follow up when somebody hits your form on your website. So the solution is adding real-time messaging to your website and Facebook posts. So instead of having them sit there and have the possibility of you missing out, just like 58% of the companies, we're having real-time communications with our potential leads when it's convenient for them. And when we're live and open in the office, we can pull a person in to have a live conversation. But maybe from 5 to 8 in the morning, 5 p.m. through the night to 8 in the morning, we don't have a live person there. But the bot has, through AI, artificial intelligence, the ability to have these real-time conversations, qualify them, and at least get them property-specific pricing. And then if need be, a real live person can follow through in on that once your office opens. So we're looking at the use of artificial intelligence to provide this 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service. So chatbots are really there to not replace people, but they're here to reduce the tedious and repetitive tasks that we all hate doing, or when we go to delegate it to people on our team, they hate doing and we hate babysitting. So chatbots are going to go in and supplement people in the sales process, and they can address these commonly asked questions. Things like qualifying, are you in our service area? What does a weekly or bi-weekly clean include or not include? All the repetitive questions that were asked day in and day out by our consumers, this bot can go out and buy that time back and get you in front of the leads that are hot and ready to buy, and not the people that are kicking tires. So chatbots are here to assist forms and people in the sales process. So one of the talks we just gave was in the cleaning industry, and Debbie Sardone of Cleaning Business Fundamentals is a textbook example of what you should be doing in your business. So that's some great examples here from Simple Growth, as well as an industry expert in the service industry. And what Debbie did here is she's got her Buckets and Bows maid service here. And it is right on her website on the bottom right-hand side. It opens up this real-time communication where somebody in her office during working hours can communicate with the actual person. She also has a form and the bot down at the bottom. So if the person wants to get a live quote on the estimate through a form, they can do it, or they can have a real-time communication through a bot. In addition, on the bottom, we have a little screenshot of the Simple Growth website. That's our Facebook Messenger bot, where we can have real-time automated communications, and when certain thresholds are met, it's notifying someone in the office to pull in for a real live human person to have the conversation. So these are the things we're talking about. We don't want to just have a form on our website, but we want to have the form so you can kind of choose your own adventure if you're more comfortable this way, or we can have a bot, or we can have the form with the bot assisting you to fill out that form as well. So we want to hit everybody based on their buying habits and how they want to interact with our brand. But if we're not doing these things, just like the TV example, our consumer is going to go to the next website or the next social media, Facebook page, where these real-time communications are happening. So this is where we can go in and have the disruption of our market, just like we did at Callahan's 3 or 4 years ago. So now that we've tackled this and kind of gone an overview, we've got the old way here on the left, but the new way is going to streamline the process. So adding bots for 24/7 conversations in sales, visitors now are qualified by the bot 24 hours, 7 days a week, and conversations are now had by our salespeople with only the most qualified and hottest leads. And now if our sales reps aren't available, the Facebook Messenger bot with the Zillow integration, the way we've built it, will go in and allow us to actually have real-time pricing based on your pricing and property-specific specs that are provided by Zillow. So we want to go in and remove the roadblocks to enable our leads to buy and talk with your brand when they want to, when it's not when it's convenient for your business. So people are used to going and getting an Uber or Lyft on demand. They're used to going on Amazon Prime 24/7. The main reason Blockbuster went out of business is because they forced people to come to their brick and mortar and buy and rent videos when it was convenient for Blockbuster. Netflix came in and disrupted the whole name of the game. And this is exactly what the challenge here today for the service industry is. If we want to adopt and be ahead of the curve, These are the things, in my opinion, we need to address in our business and adopt immediately. So whoever gets close to the customer wins. So consumer communication preferences are absolutely changing. Conversations have still been around the core of the buying habits, but the way we're having these conversations have definitely changed. The question is, will you adopt to let your potential clients find your competitor, or are you going to adopt first? Messaging eliminates the time gap between lead capture and qualification. So we're shortening that sales cycle to close sales when people are hot and ready to buy, not when you're ready to go out and do an estimate or provide a phone call. Lead forms aren't acknowledging people's presence on your site, and some people are not willing to give your information to a form. But if we go in and have a natural conversation through a bot or an automated conversation, it feels more natural. So to grab their first name, last name, at the appropriate point, we're grabbing a phone number, we're grabbing an email, we're grabbing a property address. By allowing to have the conversation to get that information now is more of a natural process, and you're not forcing them to give up all their personal information in order to talk to you. So the idea here is basically 3 steps to the new sales process with conversational marketing. First of all, it's going to be capture, qualify, and connect. I usually like to call this 1, 2, and 3, A and B. But as your sales team spends more time talking with leads person to person and less time with the tedious task, we're shortening that sales cycle and converting more hot clients when they're ready to buy. So the first thing we're diving into is capture. So this is the visitor. So they're hitting the website and they're having this live communication, or they're filling out the form and getting a live estimate through that process, whether it's Messenger or through a form. So this is an example of Debbie's Cleaning Company. In addition, we've got the ability in our Facebook Messenger bot. So get a live cleaning quote, or you get a live lawn mowing or fertilizing quote. And it goes into the conversation and it looks like someone's typing. And when it's the appropriate time in the conversation, we ask them their street address and we ask them their zip code. And as we're entering that information in, the bot is firing off to Zillow and grabbing either the livable square footage for a home cleaning or the gross lot square footage for a landscape maintenance project. So we're able to go in now and have these communications and have them feel natural, but answer them live through an automated bot when the consumer is actually shopping. And I will tell you, when we first started beta testing this, and Deb and Jen will test, is that I literally took my phone and put it on my nightstand, and I forgot to turn my Facebook notifications off. In between about 10 p.m. and 3 a.m., my phone vibrated so much from the notifications of people interacting with it that my phone literally vibrated off the nightstand. My wife jumped out of bed and thought I was having an affair at first, but it was really just you guys on Facebook demoing the bot. So it was pretty interesting. But I will tell you that nobody, I'm assuming on this call, live or recorded, has people in their office between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. But if you think about how we're actually buying and communicating with brands ourselves, we're not expecting anybody else to go in and communicate with our businesses the same way. So if your buying habits are between 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. and 3 a.m., why would your consumers not be searching for your service business in these times? So the disruption is going to be able to have these real-time communications with logic and AI through Facebook Messenger bots, in my opinion, to go out and win the lion's share of the work when your competitors are home in bed sleeping with no one else responding. The next thing is we're going in and we've captured the visitor. Now we've got a lead. So we're going to qualify them. So one of the things that we have is when people fill out the form, a lot of times we don't even know if they're in our service area. So we can build logic in the back of a bot for postal codes and say, if they meet these postal codes, then they are a prospect because we do service those areas. So if they weren't in this postal code, we could say, hey, unfortunately, you're not in our service area, but as we expand to grow, we'll contact you when we grow into that area. So most people, when they grow to scale a business into different geographic markets, have to go cold into the market and go out and build that list. So what if we had a way to qualify that lead? And if they weren't exactly in our service area, but maybe we could nurture them through long-term education and email and text and some messages, we are warming up and qualifying those new prospects in our next respective market. And then in addition, if they're in our market, we can go in and send them a message automatically. Hey, good news, you're in our service area and we've qualified them. So those are the repetitive and tedious tasks that we all hate doing on the phone when somebody calls our service business. Well, hey, where do you live? Oh, unfortunately, we don't service that area. After a 5 to 10 minute conversation, we can qualify and only talk to the hottest leads when they're ready to buy. And if they're not a hot lead or they're not in our service area, we can have a very polite but automated message letting them know, but we're building a database for the next market we need to move to. So the next thing is we're going to go in and connect. So this is the opportunity, and this is the 3A, I'm going to call it, of the 3B. So we're going to connect and we have an opportunity. So how often would you like your house cleaned, or how often would you like your lawn mowing done? Is this a one-time or an ongoing service? But the person can go in now and say, okay, I want a weekly service. So we're going to capture the opportunity when the lead is hot and ready to buy and give them real-time pricing. So the next step is 3B is we're going to connect with the customer. Can we convert? So now we've given them live pricing. So based on your property, it will be $143 for the first visit and $71.84 for each recurring visit. So we've customized this for cleaning and lawn care. We'll go through all the services. And if you hang out with us to the end of this presentation, I will have a special offer too if you're looking to buy into this, how to save $250 when you sign up for our product. But the idea is really here to educate you and how we are going to drive you through this process. But it's interesting. We've given them property-specific pricing, but we've then reaffirmed it with this is your address. And by the way, it's based on 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. But the consumer never gave us that. So now there's an emotional connection like, wait a minute, this price must be legit because they know I've got 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Or in lawn care, I've got so many square feet of lot. So we're going in and personalize it based on their home and creating that emotional connection and tying them in. And we're giving them some additional information. And hold on, here we go. So based on your first visit, it may take a little bit longer to get it in shape, and then we're going to maintain it. So whether it's cleaning or a spring cleanup where you get the property in shape and we go out to a weekly reoccurring maintenance service, we can build that automated conversation and convert them live into a client. And all they need to do now is click get started. We're going to get the rest of our information. And if you want, you can actually capture payment and process it live inside the bot via Stripe or PayPal. So these are some of the things we want to drive in this real-time buying decision. So a price matrix is going to help you speed up this estimating process. So we're not going to give you generic pricing. The estimate is going to use the Zillow square footage, and it's going to simplify the process where anybody in your office can now close the sale because the bot is going to automate the pricing based on your specific pricing. And there's several different ways that we can go in and create automated pricing. So we can have exact price, a high-low price range, or an hourly quote of how many hours, how much you charge per hour, maybe a minimum of how many hours that you're doing it. So maybe a spring cleanup is $50 per man hour with a minimum of $250. So the bot now can give you different abilities to price on how you feel comfortable based on your price. So whether it's exact pricing, high-low price range, or an hourly pricing quote, we can do that as well. So if you want to go time and materials, the bot can explain that and overcome any of those sales and price objections. But the idea is we're going to have that bot fire off to Zillow, grab property-specific information, and it's going to do the math based on what your pricing is on those services. So we're going to go in and capture this new lead's contact information right into the bot. So traditionally, we're going to have phone call and SMS, which is text messaging. So it's one-to-one and automated communication. So here's a quick example of, hey, awesome. In order to get you on the schedule, what's the best phone number to contact you on? So, and then we're going to go in and grab their email based on this. What's the best email to send your quote? So we've got all of our information. And as of March 4th, 2020 this year, Facebook Messenger is not going to, in most cases, allow us to blast out a one-to-many communication via Messenger to basically keep compliance and spam down. So it's essential if we're going to use conversational marketing that we can do it across different mediums and different channels. So the bot is automatically going to go out now and capture phone for calls and texts and email. So now we can conversate on multiple platforms and hit them where they want to actually have the conversation. So what we're going to do is sync and automate the lead and client data automatically. So if you are using Service Autopilot, we've actually created a sync, a one-way sync, So whether somebody hits your website, Facebook, or the website, we're able to drive the information through either an API, Zapier, or a custom sync that we've built. So when they deal with the bot or the website form, we automatically push them into Service Autopilot, create them as a lead or a client, and then if you're using Simple Growth automations, we trigger the welcome and wow sequence or the long-term nurture to educate them and then upsell them to the services they didn't buy down the line. So there is some new rules of engagement. We've already kind of talked about it, but I want to clarify it. So as of March 4th, 2020, after 24 hours, you cannot broadcast a one-to-many communications via Messenger as far as a sales engagement. So we want to be able to utilize those other contact areas that we are capturing live in the bot. And those are email, phone numbers, mobile for personal calls and text messages, and a thing called a ringless voicemail bomb. So we tie into several platforms. The main one is SendJim. And SendJim can do a thing called a ringless voicemail bomb. So if we're following up on an estimate that wasn't converted into a client, if we have their cell phone on file, we can hit the cell phone without it calling it, without it ringing, make it look like a missed call, and leave a pre-recorded message. And it might instantly be like, hey, it's Mike from Callahan's. We're so sorry we missed you. We wanted to leave you this voicemail. Just following up regarding the estimate we gave you live over Messenger 3 days ago. If you have any questions, feel free to call us back at this number or feel free to accept the online estimate. We're able to automate a follow-up phone call, making it personal but automated based on the timing and where they're at in the customer life cycle. So statistically, 80% of all sales are closed on 5 or more touches. And traditionally, the way I see it is your 5 or more touches are not just through Messenger. They're not through just email or phone call. It's a conversation that needs to happen across different mediums for the most effective time. So if you're looking at your competition right now and you're calling them low ballers, and there's no way you can grow your business because they're charging the lowest amount, they're just picking up all the customers, what I'm going to challenge you is to take a look at it, and maybe that's not necessarily the case. If the company down the street is kicking your tail in sales, maybe they're charging actually the same or more of you, but they're showing up consistently 5 or more times to close the sale. So if you're not following up 5 or more times right now in your estimate follow-up process, you're losing 80% of the sales in your market. And once we became clear and consistent of our follow-up with 5 or more follow-ups at our service business, we started to scale exponentially. But it wasn't until we figured out that we needed to communicate in real time with communications and across different communication channels well more than 5 times. That was the game changer in our business. And this is where I'm hoping that this is starting to see a psychological shift in your business if you're not following up 5 times or providing real-time communications via Messenger or an automated bot. So bots are perfect for the facts. So frequently asked questions about things that you do. So your salespeople are constantly asking or answering the same exact questions each and every time they come through email or phone calls in your office. So why not allow the bot to ask these questions in real time and buy that time back? The leads are going to ask your bot, ask the bot, and the bot answers. And if it isn't a pre-defined question, the bot can notify a person to come in, and then I would recommend documenting it and building it into the bot. We're going to cater the experience based on the needs of each lead. So it's going to be choose your own adventure. Maybe someone is interested in lawn care. Maybe somebody's interested in snow plowing, commercial or residential, whatever that is. But we're going to cater the experience and speak specifically to where that person is in the client life cycle. So it's a meaningful and personal conversation based on where they're at in their buying journey. So the bots are going to provide this 24-hour service with the information what your potential leads looking for or possible clients looking for in real time. And the idea is we're not replacing people with these bots, but we're automating the tedious, repetitive tasks that people hate doing and us as business managers hate managing. So as we're kind of bringing this to the end and bringing it full circle, we're going to do a live Q&A and tell you all the questions and things we've been hearing about around bots. Syncing bots to your CRM saves your office money and time. So by eliminating the data entry done by your sales team, in the last talk we had probably 40 or so people in there. And I will tell you, I think only 3 of them actually had a CRM that took the information from the website or a bot and automatically entered it into the customer relationship management software, similar to Service Autopilot. But if your team is physically doing double or triple entry, managing these things in, the bot is there to eliminate them. And this is what we have bought and what I'm going to show you. But a full-time salesperson, statistically at 52 hours a week, works approximately 2,000 hours. So with the bots in the AI and the sync, we will probably save you, if you're a normal statistic, 832 hours a year. And this adds an additional 20 weeks of more relationship building, creating sales, and following up with your existing customers. So is there anybody on the call here today that couldn't see an instrumental change in their business if they adopted bots and a sync into their customer relationship management software, such as Service Autopilot? If I could give your salespeople an extra 20 weeks to go out and upsell and refirm the relationship with your existing clients and close more sales to your leads in a quicker and more efficient fashion, so we're only dealing with the hottest leads when they're ready to buy, I got to imagine that would be a huge bottom line net gain. So I don't know about you, Deb, but if I was able to give my sales team another 20 weeks to do that, it would probably be pretty impressive. So the 5 steps to implement bots in your business this year. The question right off the bat is, are you going to be the early adopter in your market and be this disruptor? Don't be like the taxi drivers that thought a cell phone could disrupt their whole entire industry. So some historical data I pulled out was taxi driving as an industry started out in 1897, and up before Uber and Lyft, that industry has not ever changed, and based on the same buying and sales process. But when Uber and Lyft came in, they figured out how to deliver this real-time buying experience that today's consumers are demanding. So my fear is that you may be looking at this and saying, Mike, well, that may have worked in your market, but my market in this town is different and people don't buy that way. I think we all need to let our guard down, because us as consumers are all buying in this fashion. So to think someone is not going to buy a service from a service business in this fashion, demand that shortly, and they already are demanding this, it is absolute craziness. So my challenge today is to hopefully have you let your guard down and realize, if you want to continue to be successful and scale a business and hopefully disrupt like an Uber or a Lyft, that we need to adopt this technology. So step 1 of the 5 steps, we're going to add real-time messaging to your website and start capturing leads directly and sync them with your CRM. Let's buy back those 20 weeks for that salesperson to make more bottom line sales. Don't act like the bot is automated. Make it engaging, but be honest. So our example here on the bottom left is Bill Murray. We're having a little fun with it. He's our automated estimate bot. People obviously at this point realize this isn't a live person, but when it gets to a point when a live person is needed, we call them in. Give your leads the option to fill out a form or a bot real time, or even better, have your bot assistant fill out the form if that's the direction they want to go. And this says right here, may I help you fill out the form? So if people trust the bot, that's awesome. They want to have that conversation. If someone has different buying habits and they're distrustful of the bot, we have the form. So it's the combination of both. So we address both buying habits. But I will tell you from our research and what I've seen, that shift has already happened. People want these real-time buying decisions. Step 2, rethink your email marketing strategy. So the biggest misconception right now is email marketing is dead. It is not. But the problem with email marketing is people are going out and doing email blasts and spraying them across their entire database. We want to have real-time conversations that appear to be personal based on where they're at in the customer life cycle. So this email down here is an email that we call the quick follow-up. We send it 2 days after every estimate in our 20 days to close process. And if you can't see it on the screen, what it says is, hey, Stacy, just wanted to reach out, see if you have any questions regarding our estimate. If you want me to save you a spot on the list this season, just let me know. Have a great Saturday. Secret sauce in the bottom of that is it looks like it's actually sent from somebody's iPhone in your office. And you probably can't see it, but the M on Mike Callahan is lowercase. We didn't want to be disingenuous, but we wanted to make it look personal. Where businesses are getting this wrong is they are going out and going heavy in HTML coding. They're putting logos, they're putting pictures, they're putting videos in here. And people now know what an automated email looks like. So the best bet is have a plain text email. It's going to feel more personal. and speak specifically to where they're at in the customer life cycle. In our automations right now, we're seeing between a 53 and 72% open rate with click-through. 33% or higher is the holy grail of email marketing. The way we are attaining these open rates right now through email is having a personal conversation based on where that consumer is with our business. So the biggest mistake we're seeing with a lot of these big companies and even some of the small companies is they're email blasting out, let's say for the spring. If you have right now, if you haven't signed up for our lawn mowing, please sign up right now. But if you've already signed up, please disregard this estimate. You are literally spamming your own clients and getting them to engage with your email. So we need to be specific to where we're at in the life cycle and make it personal but automated. Step number 3, we want to qualify our leads through conversation. Let them know when there is a live person and then ask the questions of what problems are we trying to solve? Do you have a lawn mowing or cleaning company now? How soon are you looking to have the service done? Qualify them and ask the questions up front through the AI, the artificial intelligence in the bot. And once we figured out they're a good fit and they're a hot lead, then we pull this live person in and we plug in and say, hey, this is Mike. I'm a live person. How can I help you? It looks like you're in our service area. It looks like we can get the service done next week for you. And looks like you already have hired a lawn mowing company, but the last time they didn't return any of your phone calls, they didn't show up on time. No problem, we're different. But now we can go in and qualify and then create a live conversation after the bot is qualified. So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is we're going to filter out and target the hottest leads in real time. So based on their engagements, on how many pages or certain things they've done in the bot, we can go in and trigger them as cold, medium, or hot prospects. We can also go in based on some of these things, not necessarily in our product, but there are ways now through the technology is based on the site they came from, are they qualified? So maybe they came from your competitor's website. I'm thinking that's probably a hot lead. We may want to hop on live with them. And then we can target based on their location. So just like the example I showed you, we had all the postal codes that we were servicing. So we can go in and filter out those leads and the hot leads that are qualified. And in our service area, we pull a live person in if our office is open to close it, or we let the bot give them a live estimate in real time based on the information on Zillow and your property specific pricing for your business. Step number 5, the final process here is we want to build a lead qualification chatbot and create an automated pricing tool. So this is a cleaning example. We've done this in home cleaning or lawn care as well. We're going to go through all the different services in a minute. And this is the last slide. And we're going to open it up to questions and tackle any of these things. But I'm going to play this for you real quick so you can actually see what the bot looks like in a demo scenario. So we're going in and we're talking about right now the different things. We're going to capture the cell phone number, all their contact information. And we're going to go out to Zillow and grab the property specific information. So we're going in and we're typing, yes, let's go. Let's check this out. So we specialize in residential services. Please click below to get your live quote. And now it looks like somebody's actually typing, but it's actually artificial intelligence in the bot. We're asking the address now. So we put in the address, or your potential consumer does, and it's going to capture that and save that. And then we're going to go in and qualify them again for their zip code. Now they're going to grab their zip code. And once we have this information, it's going to look like the bot starts typing. What actually is going to happen is it's going out to Zillow right now and grabbing the square footage of the lot or the house. And now, based on your pricing, it's calculating property-specific pricing in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can see there, it's still typing away, and it looks like a person's engaging. A little house has popped up here. In about a second or two, how often would you like that house cleaned? Or how often would you like your lawn mowed? And then based on that frequency, it's going to calculate property-specific pricing. Awesome. First visit, it takes a little bit longer. Your first top to bottom cleaning is $143, and then your weekly cleaning is $71 based on this address and the specifics of the property. Same exact thing we do in lawn care, pulling out the square footage. They click get started. We grab their cell phone number, and then we grab their email. So we have all the communication channels that we've been talking about throughout the talk here, and we can hit them on different mediums. And when they sign up, you can process credit card processing live in the bot or sync it live into Service Autopilot and continue the automated process. So we've got Deb, we've got Jen, and everybody's joining here. So last thing we're going to do here is open this up to questions. Hopefully I did that justice, guys, on the fly. But if you're joining us live or even in the recorded version, drop your questions in, and we want to break out the questions that you have. So Scott wants to know, can I watch this again at a later time? Absolutely, Scott. We're going to have a replay of this as well for anything you missed. But anybody who's watching live now or even in the recorded version, we're here to answer your questions regarding bots, pricing, Zillow, and everything else, automations around what we just showed you. Simple Growth right now is a customer acquisition specialist certified by digital marketers. So we've gone through extensive training and testing on Facebook marketing and social media paid advertising. And we're also an agency partner with ManyChat, the platform we build this on. So we're not just talking about this, but we've actually gone out and done the training and the testing to be qualified to actually go out and answer these questions and certified partners here. So Deb, Jen, I've done a lot of talking here. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that? And in addition, I know we have a list of questions that were pre-submitted as well. So anything to add to that? We'll kind of dive into the pre-submitted questions and anything that anybody has live on this presentation here.
So I thought you made the whole concept of meeting people where they're at. And so, we have the automation occurring and capturing them in all these different places. So like you said, we need 4 to 5 touches across all platforms. And the nice thing about using chatbots and automations is it can let you can be notified about which platform they want, they're talking to you on. And at the right time, if they come in and they talk, they trigger the right question, it's kicked out to a salesperson at the right time. I think that's really where there's so much time saving is, the salesperson doesn't have to hop in too soon. You also don't leave a lead hanging. Like somebody could ask a question and a chatbot's notify you as soon as something happens that you should hop in the conversation. And so that's where the value of getting these multiple touches. But when that right touch occurs and somebody wants to have a conversation, you know when to hop in. So it's bringing you in at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more on that one. Deb, do you have anything to add before we hop into the actual pre-submitted questions or anything that anybody's submitting live?
No, let's go into the questions.
All right, I'm going to put on here, if people are interested, I'm actually going to put the link to a landing page in the comments where people can actually sign up for a basic or deluxe plan. And if you have questions around our product as well. What I'm going to do, though, is if you leave a comment in here that you want the promo code, so just type promo in here. In the next 48 hours, what I'm going to do as for you viewing the live version here or the recorded version, if you type in the word promo, we're going to get back to you and give you a promo code that will basically give you $250 off the setup fee of these messenger bots as a courtesy, because I know your time is valuable and you guys are spending time with us on this Facebook Live. So to pay it forward, if you type in the word promo, in the next few days, we will give you that $250 promo code to check out and actually do that. In addition, we'll waive the $100 setup fee for the Facebook or the sync for contacts in Service Autopilot if you want to go that route as well. But as we dive into the questions here, main process of this is just education, but we do want to kind of reward people for spending the time with us here as well. So that's just a little added bonus that we're putting in here for you. So first question submitted is, how does it calculate the lot size? So great question. So the first thing is, the first option that we'd recommend is we natively have tied in through Zillow. So basically we go in and grab the lot square footage, gross square footage of the lot, and drive that into the bot, and we calculate on your prices. Or in cleaning, it's the livable home square footage. Now, basically, the next question is, we're going to use that gross square footage to get it right for you. Now, if you're wondering, my pricing is not based on gross square footage, what you want to really do is take the base of the house and the driveway and the average amount of beds in one of the homes in your market and subtract that out, and then that would be the it would compare to what you're actually doing on turf square footage. Now, home cleaning, livable square footage is livable square footage. That's usually spot on. The other option is if you do not have a gross lot square footage that's not accurate in your market. There's very few that this would be applied to, but we also have the ability to create a drop-down menu of square footages. So the consumer picks their square footage with a little disclaimer at the bottom that you need to confirm as a live person. The idea is we want to get them when they're ready to buy and they're hot and get them to commit to it and then close that sale. If we need to raise the price up a little bit or lower it the following day, that's fine. But as long as you're in the ballpark, you should be fine. And the idea is get them when they're hot and close them and get them off the market so they're emotionally committed. Does it actually go to service autopilot? Yeah, so our basic and deluxe plan by itself are standalone and we notify you. For a small additional fee of $29.97, we will actually go out and right now with this webinar, waive the $100 setup fee for the sync, but it's a one-way sync. So it comes from Messenger and automatically enters that lead or client into service autopilot, no double entry, and then triggers the simple growth automations if you use them. Next question usually is, does it create duplicates? Awesome advantage of this right now is with version 3 forms that just came out as a certified advisor, and this is what we do full time. Our development team has built an integration with V3 forms that has duplicate checking. Yes, and if you're watching this, probably a big smile on your face, duplicate checking that actually works. So yes, we have cracked the code, we've made it work. They come from ManyChat. If they're already in your system, it checks on first name, last name, and email as a minimum, and we do not have duplicate checking. So we've gone through a ton of testing in the beta phase of this, and we have yet to create a duplicate contact. So unless they use a different name and email, it will not create a duplicate contact. So we have a V3 form that's built and automatically drives the contact into service autopilot. So we have several different services. One of the questions submitted is mulch. So we actually have automated mulch installation via Messenger. And the question is, does it cover one bed or can it be, can it quote multiple beds? And our system does allow for you to enter the square footage of the consumer of the beds, the multiple beds and areas they want. So there's different ways we can tackle this. So either they enter the square footage in and it multiplies out and does the math on your price per yard installed, or the consumer can say, the last time I mulched my beds, I used X amount of bags of mulch. And we're going to base that estimate at 3 inches of depth as a standard depth. And if you're not 3 inches, that's going to give you a little extra wiggle room. Obviously, we might want a little disclaimer in there saying, hey, this is based on what you give us, and this is how much we're going to provide. But if we need more, it's going to be additional charge. But yes, mulch can be multiple beds and square footages. Did I do that justice, guys? Up to that point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is, like, if someone said, we ask them, all right, they do one bed, and then we're like, all right, do you have another bed you want to calculate? And then we allow them to put in another bed. And then we ask them until they say, no, they have all their beds in. So they could put in one bed or 10, and it keeps an aggregate. It keeps an aggregate of the area. And so the quote is based on all their beds.
Beautiful. And I know off the top of my head, I'm not going to be able to remember all the services we've automated. So if one of you guys could actually just grab a list of everything we've automated, so at the end we can actually give a quick refresher. But we still have quite a few more questions here. And anybody live, if you want, ask these questions.
Scott asked a question. He asked, how accurate is lot when using for measurement? So how accurate is when we pull it from Zillow?
It's 100% accurate based on the information from Zillow. So based on the public records, it's going to pull the gross lot square footage. So all of our test accounts and beta accounts that we've looked at, it's right down to the exact square footage. So we actually tie into the field of gross lot square footage in Zillow and pull that number in. So long as Zillow has the appropriate information in your market, you're going to have the appropriate pricing in there.
Yeah, and Mike, we find, Jennifer finds, we follow up with our customers that are using the bot, that they almost all of them want that disclaimer in there that allows them the ability to say that they want to come out and check the lot themselves before they give them the final quote. So that can be written into the bot, as well as, you know, their ability to reprice it if they need to. So that you don't lose that.
And Deb, I think you really hit that. And I think that's one of the biggest fears as a service business owner myself that I have is when I go to do this is, oh my gosh, is this set in concrete? Am I stuck with this? Mm-hmm. You're not. But the idea is we want to emotionally pull them off and get them to commit. And if we have to adjust the price as long as we're in the ballpark 99% of the time, there's not an issue, because that consumer is not shopping. They just want that instant gratification, and you're giving it to them. So don't let your potentially your competition adopt that first. It's a bit of a leap of faith, but I will tell you it works right to a T, and it's very accurate. What if I do inside pest control? We set up pest control for interior or exterior based on the home square footage or lot square footage. So a lot of people right now in the service industry are realizing the ridiculous profit margins in perimeter pest or interior pest are the way to go. So how about when people are shopping for that, when they have an infestation of ants or flies or whatever that is based on that season, that they can go out and they're not price shopping. They want an instant quote and buy then. How cool is that we've actually created this process where you can actually go out and quote live and sell perimeter pest or interior pest. And that would be a good example where maybe you actually want the Stripe or PayPal integration where they're gonna commit and pay right there because they want that instant gratification. What if they aren't in Zillow? Well, then we ask them the square footage, or basically pop them out to a person or alert a person if they're not available to actually contact them. So there are some markets that don't have information for every house in Zillow, but the logic built into these automations that we've built in the back end of Messenger and ManyChats allow to have those communications based on if we actually have the information or don't have the information. So if it doesn't have the information, we ask them the questions, and if they don't want to answer it, a person can hop in live. How does this work with ads? Works amazing with very, very low cost. So one of our beta testers is seeing significant drop in his lead acquisition and customer acquisition costs. So Garrett Matthews actually is going to be one of the gentlemen that's coming on one of our Facebook Lives talking about his experience with this and how he's seen pretty exceptional results of Messenger in the conversion. And it's pretty interesting, and it happened exactly as we kind of thought, where sometimes these hot leads would just have a live person come in through that process and close them down right there. And if they weren't open, they could sign up live 24/7. So Garrett's going to give us some great feedback. But the data that we're having right now is they work really good, and it should lower your lead acquisition cost. And the ads run directly into Messenger and then start the actual estimating process. So I wish I could just literally pull my phone up and show you, because I have gotten 2 or 3 of these in my market, which I got to applaud the folks that are doing it. You are adopting to it, but you're missing the boat. When you use the pre-built Facebook template, what are the hours? What are your services? Or where can I find you? You're in essence making them fill out a Facebook Messenger form. The idea is we need to have real-time live communication and allow them to convert. So it's not only enough.
That's the key. Like you're saying, Mike, the key is when you run an ad to Messenger is to have it trigger a Messenger reaction. You don't want to just run the ad and dump them there where they have to answer like, hey, I would like to get a quote. You want to run your ad so they type one of the buttons that triggers a keyword that says, would you like to get a quote for lawn mowing? And when you combine that with your ad, like you said, our beta testers are getting really powerful results.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what's going on there, and it's just, the results are great. But yes, it's great if you're using Messenger. But the problem is you need to be using it in a real-time conversational way and not forcing them to fill out another form. So that's where that real-time communication happens. And I'm just putting it in the comments here. If you type the word promo here in the next day or two, we're going to get you a promo code to get $250 off the setup too. So getting down to the end of the questions, if you have any other questions live, feel free to ask more in the recorded version. We're going to watch those. So next question is pretty funny. I'm not techie. Will this work for me? Yes. The only thing you have to do is physically put your prices into our onboarding process. It's actually a pretty cool process. We actually message you from your own bot, and you plug in your property specific prices, say from 1 to 1,000 square feet, 1,001 to 2,000, and so on. And we've got quite a range of square footages for lawn care and home cleaning that you can plug your property specific pricing. So we grab the information from Zillow, and then we base it on your pricing yourself. Will this work with my website? So really good question here is, a lot of people say, well, I'm not really big on social media. I don't have a big following. Will this even work for me? Absolutely, because what we do is we actually give you the ability to have a website pop up, or basically a button, just like you saw on some of the slides that we showed you for best practice. We give you a QR code if you want it as well. And we can also give you the ability to use this on Messenger as well. So not only are we doing it through Messenger on social media, but we're giving you the ability to have real-time communications on your website. So if you have website traffic, you can use this and then have real-time conversations, close them, and then in addition, as an added benefit, you can actually build your social media following. So it's the 1-2 punch right there. So this is ideally where you want to go. The other bots that we are seeing right now are just focused on the website, but they're not addressing conversational marketing on Messenger. And it's the combination where we're seeing the success. So if you're comparing and doing your due diligence, the platforms, in my opinion, you should be looking at are the ones that address the website, which this does, and also on Messenger. Is it really necessary to have the Estimator bot? Absolutely, because if you don't, your competitors are going to have those real-time conversations. So just a forewarning, Facebook world, it's about to get wild when the kids come in the house here too as well. So how will the Estimator bot save time? Just like we said, we're evolving and removing those tedious, repetitive tasks and allowing your salespeople, hopefully those 20 hours a week, to go actually out and buy that time back. Yeah, I'm on Facebook Live. Okay. So what happens in Facebook happens in Facebook. So I'm going to tie this up in a minute here. I'll let Den and Jeb take the reins here if we need be. Will the Estimator bot make more money? Absolutely. So it will definitely make more money for you by removing those repetitive and tedious tasks and buying that time back. So my time may be up here in a minute with the little elephants running around here. And the best part about it is, Rory, you want to say hi? No? Okay. Well, all right. Well, we've almost run out of time here, but if you have any comments or questions, drop them below. We'll answer them in the recorded version. Type in promo. The next 48 hours will save you up to $250 off. This is another done-for-you model by Simple Growth, and we're here to help you take your life back from your business and disrupt the process in your local market and go out and own your market. So Deb and Jen, thank you enough for spending some time with me here. Kiddos are home, and this is what it's all about. These automated processes allow you to have the time to spend time with your family and have a work-life balance. So if not anything else, I appreciate it for joining me, and you guys are rock stars as always. So check it out. We've got the bot ladies here. We're automating your conversational marketing here for 2020. Thanks a lot, guys.